Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
This is Kristie Gamer, and you are tuned into my mom, Kristie J.
Come talk shit and politics with Kristie J from the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. on hot7025fm.com.
Hey, it's Kristie, and I'm here to tell you about Hotcast for Podcasting. We are a podcasting studio located in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Hot 702.5 FM studios. You can book online at hot7025fm.com. Just click on Hotcast. You can book and find your times right there. Thank you for booking with Hotcast for Podcasting.
This is Kid West. You're live with the Chisholm Report with Kristie J. Hot 702.5.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
E-Class Consulting. It's owned and operated by Kristie, providing tools, training, and resources that are sure to make you and your business even more successful. We are staffed with a marketing, credit, tax, and a real estate consultant. E-Class Consulting also provides a temporary admin service called E-Class Admins. Want to book an appointment with E-Class Consulting? Call 702-518-3002 or email book@eclassconsulting.com. E-Class Consulting, navigating you to greatness.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah, if I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor. Cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream. Wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid. You and your family. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, if I was president. But the radio won't play this. They call it rebel music. How can you refuse it? Children of Moses, tell the children the truth, the truth. It's not all that bling that's diamond. Tell them the truth, the truth. Most of y'all wear cubic zirconium. Tell them the truth, yeah. Your soul is worth more than diamonds.
If I was president,
All blacks have reparation, no segregation. Feed the nation so there's no famine. Muslims, Jews, Christians with all whole hands. Every week on the beach, party by the sand. Word up, take trips on Air Force One. Don't need to bring the homeless with no sneaks to Air Force One. Better schools in the hood, better teachers for the classes. Making money, paying no tax. Find the best scientists, tell them come up with an answer. I want the cure for AIDS and cancer, but I gotta watch my back. Snipers on the hill with the steel, waiting to shake F kills. I was president. I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, if I was president, I feel the rain coming. Let me play my guitar for them right now. Let's go. Refugees. Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Kristie J, and you're in with the Chisholm Report. I thank you for you guys coming in every Saturday at 10 a.m. to be able to sit and talk this shit with me in politics. So one thing that I want to start off doing is I want to say it's not just about Black history, but it's about Black future. Okay. So one highlight of Black Future is here at Hot 702.5. This is the first Black woman-owned radio station here in Nevada. Online radio station at the top of its charts. Okay. I just want to be able to thank this radio station for allowing me to be to have space to be able to express to my people what is needed. And we are unapologetic here. We are very risky. So thank you guys for coming in, and thank you Hot 702.5 for being Black Future. Okay. So we're going to jump in. I have a political science degree from Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I am born and raised here in Las Vegas, Nevada, very passionate about my people here. And when I say my people, I'm talking about people who have to go to the grocery store and figure out do I buy dishwashing liquid, or do I get my medication? Do I get a gallon of milk, or do I get toilet paper? Okay. When I say that, I mean by regular people who have to deal with life on an everyday basis, not the 1%, but the 99%. You are my people. Okay. So this month, of course, is Black History Month, and they tried to cancel it. Okay. But I got a couple of events that's going on, and I would love to be able to express to you how to get to them. So we have Unity on the trails. There's a Black History Month festival at Craig Ranch. Craig Ranch is at 628 West Craig Road in North Las Vegas, 89031. That is going to be on Saturday, February the 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So I believe there is food, vendors. They are walking out there for basically, let's go out there. Let's be more healthy as a people. You also have the Black History Month Festival at the Spring Reserve. That is at 333 South Valley View Boulevard, and that's in 89107. That's February the 15th, and that will be at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so those are two events that's going on. If you guys know more, go ahead and add that to the chat. You can always send that in, and we do promote. So if you're looking for advertising for an event that you have coming up, go ahead and give us a call. We would love to be able to promote you. All right. So how this show will go today is that we need to talk about a couple of things that's happening. Okay. One of the things that we're going to talk about is tariffs. We're going to talk about them reviving the death penalty. We're going to discuss the Project 2025, Chapter 11, which is them dismantling the education, the Department of Education. Trump trying to cancel Black History. Trump revoking Biden's what do you call it, security clearance, and we're going to talk about Ghana making room for Black Americans to be able to come over there. So if you have any questions, or you want to be able to ask any, or you want to be able to say something, interact with us, okay? Write in the comments. Go ahead and share, like, comment, okay? And you can call in 702-551-5261. Let's go ahead and let's get into it, okay? So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is what is tariffs, okay? So last week I did pull out what the tariffs were and how they are affecting us. I'm just going to go a little bit more into that because, of course, most of his executive orders are being held up, and we're going to talk about that too. But let's go ahead and go into the clip, and then we'll discuss after.
Well, President Trump campaigned on lowering the cost of everyday items for Americans. In fact, many voters said their decision in the ballot box was fueled by rising prices. But experts say tariffs proposed by President Trump will actually raise costs. Donald Trump has announced that on day one as president, he will impose tariffs on imported goods from the nation's three largest trading partners, China, Mexico, and Canada. On Truth Social, Trump said he would impose a 25% tariff on Mexican and Canadian goods and add another 10% tariff on top of existing tariffs on items from China. Several Verify viewers asked if Trump's plans would actually raise costs for Americans, as some economists have warned. So let's verify. Our sources are the Council on Foreign Relations, the Tax Foundation, the American Action Forum, and the Center for American Progress Action Fund. Tariffs are taxes that the government imposes on imported goods. Here's how they work. Let's say an American store today buys T-shirts for $10 in Vietnam and sells them for $12 in the U.S. Under Trump's proposed tariff, the business would pay an additional $1 or $2 to import the shirts. While the importer could absorb the cost, economists say it's more likely the business will sell the shirt for up to $14, passing the cost on to the consumer. Estimates from conservative and progressive policy experts vary, but they all say Trump's tariff proposals are generally expected to cost a typical household between $1,700 and $6,000 annually, even if companies shift some manufacturing back to the U.S. So yes, Trump's proposed tariffs would likely raise costs for Americans. President Joe Biden faced similar criticisms earlier this year from fellow Democrats when he imposed increased tariffs on some Chinese goods, including solar panels and electric vehicles. With your Verify, I'm Simone D'Alba.
All right, verified. Okay, so basically what I want to express is that the whole purpose of it is it's a tax that is imposed by the government. This used to be how the government used to fund itself, was through tariffs, okay? But it does it through imports and exports. How she explained, she talked about how, like, okay, so Christian asked me, he was like, Mama, I want the electric bike, right? I'm like, okay, let's take a look at the bike. Now, first of all, it's expensive, right? The cheapest one that I could find was $199, right? So $200. And if I buy that bike within if I buy that bike now, it'd be $200 plus the taxes plus the shipping, right? Well, if I buy this bike after the tariffs go in, which is with the hold of about 30 to 60 days, that bike will go up about $50. Okay, the 25% will be around about $50, along with the shipping, along with the taxes. Okay, so you can just imagine what that does to American families. So they're saying that American families will pay up an additional $1,700 to $2,200 more in products that we buy today that they're not going to change. So that means that they're not adding anything new to these products. It's not going to be improved. These are just the same products that we get every day, but they're going to add money to it. Tell me how that would work for you. It doesn't work for me. So then these were the other times where they actually raised tariffs. Okay, so they had the revenue era, which was through the 1790 to 1860. Okay. At that point, tariffs was basically the only way that the federal government was able to fund themselves. And that was because we didn't really import a whole bunch of stuff. We didn't have a bunch of electronics and stuff like that or whatever. Everything was basically homegrown, and most people actually had it themselves. They either made it themselves. That's way back in the day, y'all. Then you had the protection era, which is the Great Depression, okay? And that was them, that was like wine and cheese and spices and stuff like that or whatever, and like pianos, things like that or whatever in that era. And then you had the free trade era that went all the way up to 2017, which you can tell, you can talk about how prices have gone up on us and how your regular check does not cover everything anymore because of all these additional raised tariffs. So I just want us to be mindful when we're saying, yeah, the tariffs are going to be good for us. Who is it going to be good for? Because at the end of the day, you tell me this. How long will it take for them to, if they say they're going, okay, if we put a tariff on them now, we can build those items. We can make those items. How long is it going to take them to make those facilities? How long is it going to take them to hire people if they're going to hire people anyway? Because he already has a executive order for AI. That means that it's not going to be more jobs for Americans. It's going to be jobs given to the computer. How much of that price is going to go up for it being here? Because of course products here are more expensive. Hiring here is more expensive. That means that the product that you're producing is going to be more expensive. So these are the things that I want to know. And how long are you going to wait to get these items? Or are you just going to pay this higher tariff because that's what you have? And they have the option to do the same thing to us on the products that we have. So if there's things that you make here and people buy elsewhere, then you are going to have to raise your prices, and because you're going to get a higher amount told to you. So to me, it just does not help us. Okay, I am not for the tariffs. I am not for them putting more on the American people and causing more pain for us when they don't have these type of issues. Okay. So that's my nutshell in tariffs. Okay, I hope that this helps with explaining what that is and how it's going to affect you on an everyday basis. All right. I don't know if you guys were watching the news yesterday, but they were talking about how the Attorney General's memo got leaked. And this was about the reviving of the federal death penalty and the lift of the federal execution. I want to go ahead and go into this, and then we'll discuss after.
A memo from the Attorney General was leaked. It was dated February 5th, 2025, from the Office of the Attorney General in Washington, D.C. Memorandum for all department employees from the Attorney General. Subject: reviving the federal death penalty and lifting the moratorium on federal executions. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to read just some excerpts. There's one really important, critical, and grave phrase. Since our nation's founding, the federal government and nearly every state has relied upon the death penalty as a just punishment for the most egregious crimes. It then goes on to talk about how at some point the United States lost their way and stopped using the death penalty. And bear with me because it's kind of blurry, so I'll try to read my clearest. These actions severely undermine the rule of law and grievously damage the public's trust in the justice system. For the victims of these horrific crimes and the loved ones left behind, these actions betrayed our sacred duty and broke our promise to achieve justice. That shameful era ends today. Going forward, the Department of Justice will once again act as the law demands, including by seeking death sentences as inappropriate cases and swiftly implementing those sentences in accordance with the law. Now, not only is the death penalty now applicable for, the most egregious of cases, the policy shall be applied to cases involving non-drug capital crimes by cartels, transnational criminal organizations and aliens who traverse our borders and remain in the United States without legal status. This memo, dated February 5th, 2025, legalizes the death penalty for anyone illegally here in the United States and implements a death penalty to be swiftly enacted upon.
Okay, so I know that was a little slow, but I wanted you guys to hear that because people are like, oh, he's not going to do that. And y'all are tripping. Well, okay. There is something called the California Genocide, which was in 1846 through 1873. Okay. This was actually a killing of around 10,000 to 16,000 non-Native Americans and Native Americans. Okay. This involved them killing, enslaving, kidnapping, raping, children separation, and forced displacement. Okay. There was a reward of $1,000 per Native American when you would turn them in. Okay. And people been talking and being funny about turning people in and everything else. I have another clip, and this clip does express quickly what happened then and how it can happen again. Let's go ahead and go into the clip and discuss after.
The California genocide consisted of actions taken by the United States in the 19th century, following the American conquest of California from Mexico, that resulted in the dramatic decrease of the indigenous population of California. Between 1849 and 1870, it is conservatively estimated that American colonists murdered some 9,500 California natives, and acts of enslavement, kidnapping, rape, child separation and displacement were widespread, encouraged, carried out by and tolerated by state authorities and militias. The 1925 book Handbook of the Indians of California estimated that the indigenous population of California decreased from perhaps as many as 150,000 in 1848 to 30,000 in 1870 and fell further to 16,000 in 1900. The decline was caused by disease, starvation and massacres. California Native Americans, particularly during the gold rush, were targeted in killings. 24,000 to 27,000 Native Americans were also taken as forced labor by settlers. The state of California used its institutions to favor white settlers' rights over indigenous rights and was responsible for dispossession of the natives.
Okay, so I just want us to be mindful when we think about that. Think about people that's running around here that don't have any money and them telling them that, hey, you give me $1,000, $5,000, and I will round these people up. It's possible. Okay. So I don't want people to say he's not going to do that, because he's promised all of the things that he said he was going to do, he's doing. Okay. And that leads me to the next thing, is the fact that he kept saying, oh, I don't have anything to do with Project 2025. I have nothing to do with that. I don't know what it is, but each one of his executive orders have been directly from there. Literally being able to, at this point, this is him trying to dismantle the education, Department of Education. What's funny is yesterday, the Democrats were at the door. Now, they actually have rights to be able to go into that building, but Elon Musk had a dude out there with a brown polo on, told them that they cannot enter the building, and they were not able to enter the building, even though he is not in government. He does not own a position in government. He is literally an employee of Donald Trump at this point, or Donald Trump is an employee of him. Let's figure that out. But this is important for us to take a look at, because all these things, that tariffs, them trying to round up migrants, and him abolishing the education, it's all the things that are not helping Americans. These are just things that that he wants to do. None of this is actually there to help you. So I do have a clip about this. Let's go ahead and go into the clip and we'll discuss after.
Trump also indicating today he intends to close the Federal Department of Education. The president says education policy would be put entirely in the hands of the states. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez tells you how California is responding.
Upheaval and uncertainty grip the Department of Education as President Trump follows through on his pledge to dismantle the agency that millions of Americans rely on.
I believe strongly in school choice, but in addition to that, I want the states to run schools.
President Trump has nominated Linda McMahon as Secretary of Education, tasking her with scaling down the department responsible for promoting student achievement, ensuring equal access, and overseeing key federal programs. For the 2025 fiscal year, the U.S. Department of Education has a $103 billion budget. About $69 billion, roughly 67%, goes to federal student aid, which helps students pay for college or career training.
If you don't have the U.S. Department of Education, then there'd be questions about how that financial aid would be taken care of. Something like Head Start, that's a federal program as well. So that could have impact on, young kids.
Dr. Joy Spencer, Dean of the School of Education at UC Riverside, says the department also plays a critical role in collecting and providing education data.
I think it makes a huge difference for a nation to have a Department of Education where it's able to hire people who are committed, who have deep connections, who are education scientists, who can help us understand the most challenging issues related to education.
Beyond funding and research, the department also enforces anti-discrimination policies in schools, something California Attorney General Rob Bonta has vowed to uphold if the federal government does not.
The California Constitution, in addition, provides a separate, strong protection, making it clear that transgender and gender nonconforming individuals are a protected class who cannot be discriminated against.
As President Trump moves to dismantle the Department of Education, questions remain about the future of federal student aid, school oversight, and civil rights protections.
Okay, so as a single mother, these programs are very important to me. Okay, and first of all, my parents are gone. So at the end of the day, I didn't have any additional parents or anyone that could be able to fund education for me. So having student aid, my FAFSA was most definitely important. Head Start allowed me as a single mother to be able to enter back into the workforce and still have a child who can be taken care of and to can start his learning early. Okay. Food for low income students. I am not the richest person in the world, and they actually opened it up for all students to be able to eat free at school. That is important because some kids are scared to even say that they don't have any money. They don't want to tell anybody that they don't have anything to eat. So they sit there and they're hungry, and then their attitude changes. They can't focus on work. Those things happen. Okay. Then public school funding. That means that them trying to say it's your choice of where you want to send your kid, meaning that the funds will end up going just like here in Nevada, where they're in Las Vegas, they're trying to separate the Clark County School District for certain zones. What's going to happen is these rich zones are going to get the money, and then the poor zones are not going to get any books. They're going to send all the bad kids to those schools. The teachers are not going to want to go to those schools because the kids don't listen, they don't learn, and the test scores are not high, so they don't get their pensions, they don't get those additional incentives. And even for special needs, how can you say that it's okay for you to take away the funding for special needs students? Like they don't need education, or they don't need to be in school. That's not right. And this does not help with being able to try to say to encourage more teachers to come into this industry or to come into this area to be able to help us. It doesn't help in the low income areas. Then you have more gang violence. You have more issues in these schools. So you have less. You have higher absences and higher incidents where the police need to be called. Things like that. and stopping these programs where the kids, you cannot say that going to math, English, science, and history, okay, and then that kid not getting a break to be able to go to art class or go to photography or to homemakers class or driver's ed. These additional classes are the things that make it fun in between these core classes that makes them excited to actually be at school. This is important for us to pay attention to because our kids are the future. And if they are trying to take away their education, that means that they're not going to have what it needs to be able to fight economically or even have an intelligent battle with anybody else in this world. Okay, if they don't have their actual needs and skills taken care of. So it's important for us to pay attention to him trying to demolish the Department of Education also. Okay. I just want to say that Trump did try to cancel Black History Month and then try to give it back to you. The same thing he tried to do with TikTok to make it seem like he's doing something for you. And he's not. Okay. He just wants to make stuff about him. And I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate him thinking that we're dumb enough to think that, oh, well, he took away Black history, but he gave it back to us. And now we should be praising him for that. We're not dumb. Like Kendrick Lamar say, they're not dumb. Okay. So that irritates me because he wants us to praise him, and everything he's doing, he's just doing it because it's benefiting him. It's not benefiting anybody else. Also wanted to talk about the reason why he wants to revoke Biden's security clearance is because he did that to him. Well, you was on trial to be a felon, bro. That's why he removed it from you. Okay, you're just removing it from him, talking about he just might say something. No, you might say something. I don't understand why you got clearance today. Call in, Trump. Call in Don T. Okay, that's his ghetto name is Don T. That's all I'm going to call him from now on. His name is Don T. Call in Don T, 702-551-5261. I would love to talk to you and why you keep doing all this additional drama. All right. Why is it about drama instead of it being about the people? Why is it about you being able to benefit and not the actual people who you're supposed to be serving? All right. You're supposed to be a servant of the people, and you're not. Now, I want to talk about y'all. In the middle of the night, I watch videos about the Bible, okay, in AI on YouTube, okay, and last night it was Revelations, all right, and when it talks about Revelations, it talks about the seven-headed, is it 7 heads, and then they have a crown on them, or 10 heads, and they have a crown of 7, and then there's one that has a small horn on it. And first of all, it freaks me out. It's way scarier than any scary movie you ever watched. Okay, but it's coming. It's coming to fruition. It's coming coming alive in our time. The U.S. Trump, okay, has decided that he believes that that America should take over Gaza and be able to make Gaza into like this Riviera, like a resort type thing. And he's basically saying that the Palestinians cannot go back. Like, you don't want to go back. We're going to make it real nice there, but you got to go somewhere else. We don't really want you to be back there. That's crazy. I do have a clip about this. Let's go ahead and go into the clip and we'll discuss after.
Is in an uproar today over President Trump's audacious plan to take over the devastated Gaza Strip and turn it into a world-class tourist destination.
I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy, but the Riviera of the Middle East.
His proposal, outlined like a real estate development deal in a territory ravaged by war, was met with astonishment. One headline called it a bonkers plan.
It's preposterous.
All of us were watching this and sort of, wow, can you rewind that? Did President Trump just say what we think he just said?
Trump wants to relocate 2 million Palestinians and build a vacation paradise to rival the French Riviera.
The universal reaction was shock and horror. People don't believe this is feasible. They're not sure if Trump is serious.
Oh, he's serious. Today, as the neighboring Arab countries in the region outright rejected Trump's plan, he says he'll impose tariffs on them if they don't play ball.
This is an out-of-the-box idea. That's who President Trump is. That's why the American people elected him. And his goal is lasting peace in the Middle East for all people in the region.
Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu praised Trump's plan as bold, original thinking.
He has a different idea, and I think it's worth paying attention to this.
And there was this memorable moment as Trump expressed puzzlement when a reporter from Afghanistan asked him a question.
Do you have any plan to change Afghanistan situation?
It's a beautiful voice and a beautiful accent. The only problem is I can't understand a word you're saying.
Here she is today, freelancer Nazira Karimi.
I cried a little bit, but I'm so happy that still President Trump's other compliment.
So yeah, that is terrible. Okay, that he wants to make money off the fact of these people have been, basically it's been a genocide. They've been had an occupation on them for so long. Israel has bombed these people, okay, and he's saying we're going to clear this out and make it into a resort area. Is horrible. It is insensitive, and it's just horrible, y'all. Like I can't even imagine sitting there and hearing him. Like if I'm a person that is a Palestinian and I'm sitting there in rubble, okay, I'm sitting here in tents and stuff because we have nothing, and he's saying y'all need to figure out where y'all gonna go because I'm about to build a whole new area here, and y'all can't come back even though this land belongs to you. So this is the stuff that we're dealing with. And I can't understand why at the end of the day somebody would want to put this man in power. I don't understand who would want this man to be in charge of stuff when he has no idea what you go through. White, poor America. Tell me what you have in common with Donald Trump. I mean, just tell me. Other than the fact that it ain't your skin color, because he looked like he been like dipped in doo-doo. Okay, so it's not that. What is it where you think that he actually would have you in his best interest when the first thing he did was cut off the things that actually benefit white women? All of those things. I've already expressed that I believe that this Project 2025 was an answer to the Me Too movement. This is white men telling white women, you can't. I still rule upon you, and you're gonna do what I say. Okay? Because the Me Too movement removed certain men out of their high stature and positions and emplaced women, okay, white women at that, who was the most that's who benefited from DEI the most. So him doing that and then you voting with them is completely is mind-boggling to me. I know you guys have seen the Hispanics, just about, you got Latinos, you got Hispanics, you got the Muslims for Trump. Everybody is like, hey, black people, we need you. Where are you at? And we trying to explain that we were there for you. The whole purpose where we were there for you November the 6th and 7th to make sure that we voted the right way. At 92% and 89% for black women and black men, we did what we were supposed to do because we knew what they were capable of. And you decided to vote against your own people. So you cannot call us out and ask us, well, what are you going to do for us? When at the end of the day, Your own people said no to you being able to be here. Your own people voted for this man to do this to you. Now we sitting up and all these things that I've just discussed. The Board of Education, the migrants being able, now they able to say that just because you are an undocumented person that we can be able to put you to a death penalty. Them building all these new prisons to be able to put people in, sending people to Guantanamo Bay already. These things are very, and we are only 14 days in, y'all. Okay, we're not even a full month yet, and the whole purpose of this man saying all this drama, if you notice, none of his stuff is going through. I want you to pay attention to that, because he wants to make it look like he's doing something, but he knew this stuff wasn't going to work. He wasn't going to be able to say that he could say that they're working hard, but they're fighting against us to do these things, right? He knew that this stuff wasn't going to come. It wasn't going to be able to be approved, because they're horrible things. And none of the things are here to help you. What happened to them cutting the cost of eggs? Now you got the Waffle House saying you got to pay an additional 50 cents per egg. You got people saying that they are going to buy their own chickens and have their own eggs. In New York, they're shutting down those places where you can buy livestock, saying that you can't because of bird flu. Now, what do we do? What do we do now? And then for those black people who we were talking to and said, you got to vote, we need you to do this. And it's like, it don't matter for us at all. Birthright comes right back to us. That comes right back to us. Them being able to pull rights back from us, that's crazy. That's nuts. Okay? So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. If you have any resources that people could be able to use, I would love to hear them. You have students that are walking out of school protesting against these orders. You have children not coming to school because their parents and them are scared that they will be picked up by ICE. You have it's just so much stuff, y'all. And I cannot voice it enough that we have to be prepared going into this primary in 2 years. We got 2 years to figure out a plan. What's the plan? What the WTF are we going to do? Tell me. Point me in the right direction. Where do I pay my $14.99 for membership so I can be able to get the information too, so I can spread it? I want to be involved. Everybody that wants to be involved, say, I want to be involved. Okay. So people can find us and be able to get us all moving in the right direction as a people. And so along with saying that, okay, Ghana has actually dedicated over 300 acres of land to Black Americans to be able to build a city for Black Americans to develop over there. Now, this is the trial run of them being able to give that amount of space for them to be able to build the entire city for us. Now, answer this question for me. If that was possible, if they decided to build this city, would you consider going? Would you consider being to move out of America, move back? Well, not back, but move to Africa. Okay. And be able to live your life there. Would you be able to do that? Now, I have a clip on this. Well, we're going to go through the clip just a little bit. But I have a clip on this. Let's go ahead and go into the clip and we'll discuss after.
Allocates 400 acres to creating a Black American settlement.
Hold on, let me get this straight. A group of Black Americans went to Ghana, spoke to the Ghanaian government about building a town for Black Americans in Ghana, got approval from the Ghanaian government to build a town for Black Americans in Ghana.
A Black American city. This is a great idea. This is an amazing idea. I 100,000% support this. And the group Earn Your Leisure are the ones who are spearheading this. I don't know if they bought it or put some money down or what it cost them to do this, but I do know that they are doing it in conjunction with the Ghanaian government or Ghanaian government. And they also said that they will allocate even more land depending on how well this Black American city works and how quickly it gets up and running and whatever happens with it. This is a great idea. It is an amazing idea. It is something that all Black people should be praising, but a lot of Black people are against it. And many of us just haven't even heard about it, didn't even know it was even going on. But a lot of Black people have been, criticizing this as well. But I'm going to just speak at it from a positive standpoint. First of all, I remember 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year, the Ghana government passed a law or a bill, legislation, whatever, allowing for us as Black Americans to come there and get dual citizenship.
524 people from the Black diaspora, mostly Black Americans, were granted citizenship of Ghana in November.
Right. So if this is something that interests you, you can be able to find this information. I do. If you go to my personal page, you will see that I tag stuff on my stuff all day. Go to it. Go look and see what they are putting on there, because this is not the only place that is offering us dual citizenship. You can go to Thailand. It is there's a couple of different places, Costa Rica. There are movements of people, of Black people moving out of the states and saying that it's a better solution. Lower cost, less stress, less chemicals in your food and water. Maybe it's not a bad idea. Speaking of that, Marcus Garvey, that was what he wanted us to do, was to be able to move out of here and take all the stuff that we did with us. Now, I will tell you this, that at the beginning of when Trump first started, I said that they were building that wall not to keep people out, but to keep us in here. Okay? So, I want people to know that you also, if you have welfare, okay, if you have any type of welfare, Medicaid, Medicare, or anything of that nature, you are eligible to get your passport for free and for your children. Okay. I want to thank everybody that comes and talks with me, talks this shit in politics with me. Toya, thank you. Mr. Evans, thank you again for you also coming in. Thanks everybody for being able to speak on these subjects. It's important for us to stay informed. It's important for us to know that there is a place for us to come and get information, to give information. For the next 4 years, we need to band together as people and be able to figure out what are the next steps so we can make ourselves more powerful in what we need. And that is developing a plan and then executing, not leaving off of other things that we have going. Like all these, please don't let up on the fact of Target and Walmart, McDonald's, these different companies, TJ Maxx, who have decided that they don't want anything to do with us. Okay, the fact that their dollars are not working. The fact that Target, their stock is gone down, and those stock holders are upset and suing Target for taking out the DEI because it took the dollar down. It took it took out what it was worth, what Target was worth. Okay, and that's how you argue. That's how you fix it. Is that they don't care about nothing but the dollar. So let's take their dollar. Take it, use it for ourselves and build it for ourselves and make sure that we have stuff for us. Okay. You guys, I am here every Saturday, 10 a.m. to talk this shit in politics here on the Chisholm Report. I appreciate you guys coming. I appreciate you guys interacting with me. Always send your questions if you have any additional information that you want me to look into. I would love to hear it. If you see somebody out there grinding, let them know you see them shining. I truly appreciate you guys, and thank you again. I love you. See you next week.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah, if I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, they go back to work on Monday. If I was president.